Yes, AK, you are there now.
Thank you.
See, hello friends. On behalf of Rssdi and Indian Diabetes League, I welcome you all on this fifth episode of Indian Diabetes League. Today our match is between Delhi Capitals and Marathas of Maharashtra. We have the lead person is Dr. Ashok Das, who is the legend of the game. And then we have a commentators, Dr. Prakash Keshwani and Dr. Vinay Dandania. As today match is very excited, everybody is very excited. So we had kept two more commentators, one from Mumbai, from Wankhede Stadium directly, Dr. Rajiv Kovil, and one more co-commentators from Delhi, Dr. Shalini Jaggi, directly from Arun Jaitley Stadium. So now I request both the commentators, Dr. Prakash Keshwani and Dr. Vinay Dandania. But before that, I request Dr. Anuj Meshri, who is Vice President of Rssdi, for some introductory remark. Over to Dr. Anuj Meshri.
Thank you, Bansi. Welcome to all attendees and participants of this fifth match for Rssdi Ideal. No doubt this is going to be an innovative way of fair discussion among the participants, among the country's different stalwarts for all controversial topics related to diabetes. And it is now going to be so popular that other organization has also started following us. So many other organizations has started similar programs. So with this, I can see the enthusiasm of the today's match. This is going to be just like I'm not going to say India versus Pakistan because this has a lot of bitterness. This is just going to be like England and Australia. So it will be a competition like in England and Australia, Bombay and Delhi. So we are going to enjoy really the great debate as far as the topic is concerned. Fantastic topic, cardiorenal benefits of the SGLT2 inhibitors. It seems that Bombay is on a bit tough wicket, but Bombay is having good stalwarts, Mangesh Tivaskar, but I'm not going to take the I'm not going to snatch the work of the commentators. So let's leave all these things to the commentators. Just welcome to all of you for a great, exciting and fantastic match. Thank you. Thank you all.
Over to Dr. Prakash Keshwani and Dr. Vinay Dandania.
Thanks a lot, dear Dr. Bansi. Good evening, Dr. A.K. Das, sir, the legend of today's evening. I am feeling delighted. And at the same time, I thank and congratulate Team Ideal, including Dr. Bansi, Dr. Vasant Kumar, Dr. Sanjay Agarwal, Dr. Rajiv Chawla, and whole Team Ideal for this fascinating idea. and have made a large number of doctors to become crazy for these matches. I am surprised to see the large crowd in both the stadiums. Arun Jaitley Stadium from the Delhi and Wankhede Stadium from the Mumbai. Both are overcrowded. And still a big number of doctors are in the queue to log in for their entry in the stadium. And more than this, everybody is excited, including our legend, our umpires, and all the observers. Today match is going to be fascinating and more exciting than the previous ones because two of the giants are having the match between them. One is the capital of our country, Delhi. Another is Mumbai, the financial capital of the country. Topic is also the most hot one about SGLT2s. And this match is going to be exciting, going to be very exciting one. Delhi, we know, has very strong history and has been capital of the India several times even before 1947. It is treasure trove of ancient history and culture. The world knows about Qutub Minar, Lal Killa, Connaught Place, and Parliamentary House. Delhi has given a big number of cricketers to the country, including present captain Virat Kohli. Today, Delhi cricketers Virat Kohli, Virendra Sehwag, Shikhar Dhawan, Ashish Nehra will be playing in this match in the face of Dr. Meena Chabra, Dr. J.K. Sharma, Dr. Vipul, Dr. Girish, and Dr. Sen Gupta. Everybody is excited to see their match. Now I ask my friend Vinay Dandania to take it further. Dr. Vinay, please.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Prakash, and good evening, respected seniors, dear friends. Cheer up and be prepared for a big pre-Diwali dhamaka. It's going to be a big match between a union territory, Delhi Capitals, and a state, Maharashtra. So it's a big dhamaka which is going to happen right now. A place produces actors in Bollywood, the another has actors in the parliament, and one has a pani puri, the another has a golgappa. If you see, one is having a pav bhaji, the other will have a kulche chole. So that is how the dhamaka is going to be. And be prepared for this big event. Everyone is waiting for this big event. One is producing, creating finance, the another is managing finance. And that is how the clash is going to be. And let me tell you, both the teams are real big friends when they sit together in this Rssdi table. And the friendship is going to be seen today between both of them. With this introduction, I call upon our patron, Dr. A.K. Das, for his presentation.
Just to inform that today we have already 1,289 doctors already logged in. And
Correct.
Before Dr. Ashok Das talk, can I request two co-commentators, Dr. Rajiv Kovil and Dr. Shalini Jaggi, to make their comments, and then I request Dr. Ashok Das for his comments.
Yeah.
Shalini, who do you think has got benefit today?
Benefit is always where the government is and where the power is.
Okay.
So
you think
wherever you go,
really
whatever
think so?
happens, people
So-
can keep doing whatever they want. होता वही है जो मोदी चाहता है और मोदी है अपनी
Did-
दिल्ली में.
Did
So
you see
benefit
this?
has to-
Did you see this? So can we have a
यार टीके लगाओ कि झुमके
Can we have-
पहनो.
can we have a Maharashtra team unmute? 1, 2, 3, 4 गणपति चा जय
जय जयकार
ठोक दे किल्ली दिल वालों की
बप्पा
दिल्ली.
मोरया
एक
गणपति बप्पा मोरया
जय भारत जय शिवाजी जय महाराष्ट्र
तो दिल्ली वालों चक दे फटे चक दे फटे ठोक दे किल्ली जीतेगी सिर्फ मेरी दिल्ली.
आज
डॉक्टर मनोज चावला तो ऑलरेडी
आज
डॉक्टर
कुल-
मनोज चावला तो ऑलरेडी तिलक विलक लगा के आए हैं सिद्धि विनायक.
आज
ऐसा है,
कुलचे
ऐसा
कुलचे नहीं
है,
खाएंगे,
दिल्ली
वड़ा
दिल
पाव
वालों
खाएंगे
की
शाम
है।
में.
दिल्ली दिल वालों की चक देगी
दिल्ली
फटे।
दिल वालों की है. दिल्ली में सबका स्वागत है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं.
अरे
हम भी सबका स्वागत करते हैं.
महाराष्ट्र है वीर मराठों का. आज महाराष्ट्र जीतेगी.
नहीं
Over to Dr. Das, sir. Your
जीतेगा वही
the show is
जिसका
yours.
दिल जीतने वाला
My
है.
dear
दिल
friends.
तो पागल है,
Just
तभी
requesting.
तो जीतेगा सर. पागल नहीं होगा तो कैसे जीतेगा?
यही तो है.
Requesting
भले दिल
everyone,
वाला जीतेगा.
requesting everyone to mute
It's a
and
great,
over to
Das.
Dr. Das.
Yeah,
Please mute
it's a
yourself.
great evening. Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
Yes,
audible
sir.
now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Dear friends, it's a great evening of fun learning on a subject which is very contemporary and very topical. The cardiorenal benefits of the SGLT2 inhibitors. Is it a class effect or it is not a class effect? Dear friends, SGLT2 inhibitors, today 5 in number, starting with DAPA, EMPA, DAPA, CANA, and ER2 and SOTA, are rocking the scenario of the diabetes management and given to the world a great deal of benefit from the cardiorenal standpoint, which are the two important aspects of diabetes management. And it is also based on two important pillars. One is the albumin excretion and the filtration fraction. So, dear friends, we have today this debate whether the effect of this SGL2 inhibitors class is a class effect, not a class effect. Dear friends, I will get back to my King's College days when once Sir James Black of the beta blocker fame, inventor beta blocker, once told me in his lab that the concept of class effect came from the beta blockers. And I checked up that it came from the beta blockers effect on giving a longer life to the persons with myocardial infarction. Now, this class effect was further adopted by FDA. They call it the class labeling. They call it today, call it class labeling. But dear friends, much water has flown down the river till the date it started and the current status of it. Dear friends, there are issues inherent in this class effect concept. The issues are I will not touch upon this subject to keep the very erudite debaters and the players to play their game extremely well. I must hasten to add that this is a way of off-label marketing where we say that we increase the market share by calling that your drug has the similar effect of a drug which is indicated for X. But however, people have also said that not all drugs within each class can be assumed to have identical medical effect when you give to a patient. However, there is also other side of the coin. When we look to the various effects of the DAPA, EMPA, DAPA, CANA, and the 5 trials center around them, which we'll discuss, I will not put the cart before the horse. It has been observed that all of them have the cardiorenal benefits. It has been also assumed that some people say that the benefits of DAPA is more for the heart failure. In contradistinction, the benefits of another molecule may be more for the kidney. But it has been also debated that the effects are not effect. There need not be any differentiation about their effect. And so much so, in one of the latest ADA meeting, the AIR2 had similar things to say. There is a class effect. Dear friends, this evening, we are going to play the match to bring out the points that is a class effect and the points it is not a class effect. It is called fun learning. It's a way of understanding the nitty-gritty of medicine, the clinical practical aspects, and to benefit each and all the thousands of people who have joined to be benefited by this. Dear friends, we have to keep our minds steady and listen to the great discourse this great audience, great players are going to give us. And I must tell you that people said AMPI, Amoxi, and Amoxiclav are the same with the class effect. The class effect also, the drugs, I will not touch upon diabetic drugs, we're discussing that, donorubicin, anthracycline, and the epirubin, the same anthracycline. So there are a lot of A's and ARBs, whether they're same class effect or there's a difference. Dear friends, there's a lot of things to discuss, lot of things to learn, assimilate, and utilize that knowledge for the care of the patients. Dear friends, I'm delighted to be here. Thanks to everybody who has given me this chance. And I will end by saying that the RSSDI is poised not for a great walk, nor for a great run. It is poised for a leaping towards the great future for RSDI. And you have seen today from where we started at 15 members in Professor Ahuja's room to today thousands of members and the activities beyond beyond anyone can imagine. Long live RSSDI. Long live the spirit of the enthusiasm, unending enthusiasm to make the association one of the best in the globe. Today, India has been being looked upon as the e-medicine capital of the world, and RSSDI and the diabetes-related e-medicine should be looked upon as the cream de la cream of that particular e-medicine, e-cricket match, e-learning, and in fact producing the greatest benefits. We have amidst us today the great umpires in KK Tripathi and my friend Jyotideb and KK Tripathi. I will not read the names. We'll discuss. You will see them. You will listen to them. I will stop here and hand over the forum to the umpires to take it forward. Thank you very, very much for coming today and encouraging all of us and making it, trying to give your best to make it the great event of the year. And this fifth match, a great event, and the ideal. Over to the umpires.
Thank you, sir, Professor Das. What a wonderful evening, and good evening to everybody. Thanks to Banshi for innovating this idea of learning and taking, we have been trained with bedside, from bench to bedside medicine. What Banshi has done of learning from cricket to diabetology and to endocrinology and many more future specialties to come. So we have two robust teams, the great traditions, the Warriors. We started the cricket by Britishers to the Royals, and the Royals took it to the Mumbai, and then it is straight at the seat of power for last 800 years at Delhi. And so we are going to see two giants, the team, and there are the legends, Dr. Professor Joshi with us, and the other team from the Delhi. And we are going to start. Now, we are calling upon the next umpire, my coach, umpire Jyotidev, would take the toss between the two robust team and would see who is going to bat and who is going to the ball. Dr. Jyotidev.
The third umpire is going to do. Yes,
so I will explain the rules. I will explain the rules. Yeah. Thank you. The third umpire will be Joshi. Anyway, unfortunately, I am an umpire, so I should be unbiased, totally unbiased. And congratulations to Benishi and the team for this fun game. The RSSDI IPL has become a very, very, very big hit, as Dasar has said. And today we have a captain, none other than Dr. Shashank from Maratha team. So it's going to be a very, very powerful game today, very tight game today. So I will briefly go through the rules. We will be having 2 overs. The first over will be the first speaker, and the first speaker will have 8 minutes. And the second speaker will have 7 minutes. And rebuttal, of course, you remember that you should not be having any slides for rebuttal, and that is for 3 minutes. And obviously, no nasty or non-scientific language to be used. And if you are exceeding the time limit, extra 1 minute will be given to the opposition. And with respect to free hit, extra 1 minute will be provided if the players are very, very scientific and humorous. And probably this is going to happen today. So thank you very much. Over to the third umpire, toss.
Dr. Sanjay Reddy. And
Sanjay Reddy,
the third
please.
umpire does the toss.
Good evening, everybody.
Just a minute, Sanjay. I mean, before you do the toss, we are going to do the pre-debate poll also.
Right.
So, Hardik, from your end, you please do the pre-debate poll. And Sanjay, now you can start with the toss.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Before thanks to Bansi, RSSDI, and the whole team for putting this program together. Now we have 2 great teams, and all the best to both of them. Before I invite both the umpires to the pitch, Dr. Shashank Joshi and Dr. Meena Chabra. So I have the coin. Nobody throws the coin. So heads and tails. I want one of you to call, sir. What you call, or Dr. Meena? Any one of you can call. I'm going to toss the coin.
So your call.
No, ladies will do the call.
I want heads. My
Capital,
head, my shoulders. Heads.
Dr. Meena, it is tails. So Bombay team have won the toss. Over the pitch is all yours. And to start over the game, Dr. Shashank Joshi, you can take a call whether you want to speak first or you want to allow Dr. Meena to do the name.
Meena will do the batting. We will bowl. We will be bowling.
Great.
So much for the
So-
opportunity.
All the best to both of you.
Thank you.
So the
Everybody, all the best, everybody, and do well and cheers.
All the best.
All the best.
Marathas have won the toss and decided to ball first,
All the
and
best.
Delhi Capitals are going to bat first. All the best to both of the teams.
I
And
welcome.
may I call upon now Dr. Meena to introduce the team and take it forward, please.
I welcome both the teams with a virtual Tulsi plant. Different perceptions, different answers to the same issues. And some issues are worth fighting for. We shall fight hard with daggers drawn. For the topic, cardiorenal benefits of SGLT2 inhibitors are a class effect. And yes, they are. Before Delhi wages the war, I want to say, may the best team win. May IDL triumph under the able leadership of Dr. Bansi Sabu, and long live RSSDI. Now it is my proud privilege to introduce my team. Power hitter, Dr. Vipul Gupta. Pacey swinger, Dr. Girish Khurana. Defty wicketkeeper, Dr. Sen Gupta. Web spinner, our coach, Dr. J.K. Sharma. And of course, a fiery all-rounder, yours truly, the captain, Dr. Meena Chhabla. Thank the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders are the RSSDI Delhi chapter members, and a very special thank you to our EC members, our mentors, and our patrons, because they helped us in net practice. Now, we shall score and we shall clean bowl. In a lighter vein, I request the umpires that your judgment should be impartial. Don't get carried away by the beautiful dynamic captain of the Delhi team, or by the towering Don Bradman, the captain of the Mumbai team. Let's prevail. Let science prevail. पहन के हम नीला महाराष्ट्र आ रहे हैं तुम्हें करने लाल पीला.
ठोक दे खिल्ली जीतेगी दिल्ली. All the best.
चक दे फटे.
चक दे फटे. सत श्री अकाल.
पीला कहाँ है?
Thank you, Dr. Meena. Good evening, everybody. At the outset, I would like to thank my captain for giving me opportunity to open the innings. This is my team for today's match. Today's topic for discussion is cardiorenal benefits are class effects of SGLT2 inhibitor. A big yes. Everybody knows the fact. Why the debate? I don't know. It is a fact we will need to reiterate again today. For a molecule to have a class effect, they need to have a similar chemical structure, similar mechanism of action, and similar pharmacological effects. All these molecules have a similar structure, and the plausible mechanisms are natriuresis, causing reduction in interstitial edema, reduced preload and afterload, causing reduction in LV wall stress, improved renal and cardiorenal physiology. And another mechanism which has been put forward is the cardiac sodium hydrogen exchange channels, which are expressed on the renal tissues and the cardiac myocytes, and the improved cardiac biogenetics. And the similar pharmacological actions also show reliable cardiorenal benefits in terms of comparing adverse side effects or no treatment interactions during the trials. The same view has been put forward in Guglielmo et al., which also Dr. A.K. Das quoted. FDA has said that class effects is more of a class labeling, and all products within the class are closely related in a chemical structure, pharmacology, therapeutic activity, and adverse reactions. Similar things were found in the mouse model also with inhibition of sodium hydrogen exchanger. So all molecules in the SGLT2 are class effects and are in a similar class. If we see the CVOT for the large 4 SGLT2, the large trials, the EMPERIC, CANVAS, DECLARE-TIMI, and the VERTIS, all these trials were the randomized controlled trials with placebo, with non-inferiority as the endpoint. If all these trials, if we see, they had the similar duration of follow-up with similar baseline characteristics. But there are certain differences which we must note, that empagliflozin, EMPERIC had more than 99% patients along with VERTIS-CV of established cardiovascular disease, and the 70% patients in DAPA were of the primary primary prevention, and the CANVAS had the 70% patients of the secondary prevention. If we see the renal thing, the 60% patient in the credence had a EGFR less than 60%, followed by MPAREC 25%, and least patient with low EGFR was enrolled in declared TIMI. If we see the outcomes, let us see. Hospitalization because of heart failure universally good in all the trials with hazard ratio ranging from 0.65 to 0.73. All good in all the trials. My opponents note this. If we see the CV death, MPAREC forms good with a superiority and the p-value statistically significant. And similarly in 3-point MACE, if we see the MPAREC and Canvas going good, scoring in the statistical superior manner, all other trials remaining near the line of unity, showing a trend towards the molecule, but not superior. Similarly, if we see the risk reduction in CV death driven by MPAREC and all other trials staying close to line of unity, and the diamond also staying towards the unity driven mainly by MPAREC. If I am speaking all this, my opponents would be very happy that I am speaking from their side or my Delhi capital side. But my dear friends, cricket is a very funny game. It is a game of glorious uncertainties. Don't be winning, think winning. But since the last ball is bowled, and now I take you to the subset analysis of DAPA gliflozin trial declared TIMI. If we see that the patient who has a established cardiovascular disease with a prior MI were followed up for 4 years in DAPA trial, they all have the benefits similar to the 3-point MACE benefits seen in the large 4 trials, and the absolute risk reduction at 2.6% versus 0% in the patients who had prior MI without, as compared to patients with non-prior MI. Similar benefits were seen in the composite of CV death and hospitalization of heart failure in patient with prior MI as compared to placebo. And similar results were seen in non-patients with having no MI. So the results in heart failure were consistent in both the trials driven by mainly heart failure hospitalization, but 3-point MACE in high-risk patient was subset of DAPA gliflozin showed here similar to other molecules. So this brings DAPA neck to neck with other molecules, saying it is in the similar class. Now what do you see in this picture? These are all my favorite batsmen. All belong to same class. If they might be having a different batting style. They may have different batting averages, but on a particular day, they're all winners. They'll bring the match to you from a brink of defeat. Same like the SGLT2 inhibitors, bringing the same benefits in the cardiorenal class. Here, I think I come to the penultimate over where I need to speed up the gas so that I can put up more runs on the board. If we see the Indian patients, 55% of the heart failure patients have diabetes. And I need to score runs little faster as a clean hit by the Delhi Capitals captain. If you see here, it's the great 6, the ball going out of the boundary, and it's a long 6. You'll see it here. All the heart failure outcome trials in CVOT, the results are very similar. The MPAREC showing hazard ratio of 0.65, Canvas 0.67, Vertis CV 0.70, and declared TIMI 0.73. All the curves separating quite early in the state of the treatment, showing that these molecules are very effective in early treatment, and the results in the outcome of heart failure are quite consistent early in the molecule. Whether the patients have atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease or no atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, all were similarly same in terms of reduction of hospitalization by heart failure. If we see the subset analysis of patients who have declared TIMI and Canvas, where the patients were lesser for primary prevention, the patients with multiple risk factor or established cardiovascular disease, the results were similar direction, and the p-value was significant in these subset of patients. And if we see that the patient who had a prior heart failure or no heart failure, the results were even similar. This we can compare. If you are going to bowl me a googly or a spinner or a bouncer, I'm going to hit it for a 6. Never mind, it is all going for a 6. And similarly, if we see the heart failure reduction in reduced ejection fraction HFrEF patient, the robust evidence from 2 RCT, the Emperor reduced and DAPA heart failure, the evidence says that reduced risk of CV death or hospitalization because heart failure, regardless of type 2 diabetes, is seen there. It is all on the same side. The all CVOT consistent with renal composite outcomes, consistent like a Dravid. Now I come to the last over where I need to score more 6s. If we see the diabetes kidney disease, the results are in all the trials same, 100 out of 100, no debate, nothing on my side, on your side, my competitor. Heart failure, similar, 4/4, all trials leading on to the similar results. Nothing to debate here. Something to debate here in the 3-point MACE where declare TIMI 58 had some benefit over the other. And if you see that the subset analysis, or if we see the patient with primary prevention had given the same benefit in all the patients. So if you see it is 11/12, which looks, but actually it is 12/12. It is again a 6 and we are winning. This is my duty at the end to tell my opponents that the pitch is not bad. It is very bouncy. And if you are not batting correctly and thinking you are hitting 6, you will be caught in the outfield where the fielders of the Delhi Capitals are very good in catching. They'll catch you out when you are thinking you are hitting 6. It is the out again. And I end up my talk by saying a quote from Sunil Gavaskar: "Form is temporary, but the class is permanent. Like the SGLT2 inhibitors showed consistent results." Thank you.
Can I take a review? Can I take a review, umpires?
Yes.
So, he's completely clean bowled himself, and I take objection to a couple of slides. He himself has showed the differences and the glaring differences between each of them. This is called signal to noise, and he has used signals to create a noise of differential effects of each of the SGLT2 inhibitors. Each of his slides had different things, and he had tried to plug them in an unscientific manner. And in medical parlance, this is called a signal to noise ratio. So I congratulate Dr. Vipul Gupta for creating a confusion of class when actually they are independent molecule effects. Each of the independent molecules have differential effects, whether it is heart failure, whether it is renal disease, but predominantly the 3-point MACE and the 4-point MACE is clearly no. So I take objection to that slide. You can't make 8, 4, 12 the way you like it. This is medicine. This is evidence-based medicine. You can't tweak evidence-based medicine to your advantage. This is not a game of cricket. This is serious business. Thank you.
Am I allowed to rebut? Am I allowed, the captain?
No, Dr. Kamlakar Tripathi, he will answer the thing. And then what we can do is, at the end,
questions,
the one review he has already taken, let the second speaker to talk. And then, whatever the Kamlakar Tripathi you want to make comment, you make.
I can't
the objection is sustained. The objection is sustained. This question would be answered in rebuttal.
No, I want to rebut.
Oh, ma'am, you don't know the rules of the game. Rules of the game allow a review, and I have a right to review as a captain.
Dr. Shashank, you must not be so serious about these things. You are a walking encyclopedia, everybody knows. So you should not object like this.
Shashank, you should not be captain also.
Yes. It can be answered in rebuttal. It can be answered. The questions all need to be taken again in rebuttal.
No, the review question has to be answered by the captain.
Dr. Meena, let second over to play, please.
Dr. Kamlakar, I think we should give an opportunity during rebuttal to answer what Shashank has taken as a review.
Wasting time. I take objection.
Please listen to
review
the
is a right of a captain in the rules of the game. I am going exactly by the rule book.
Yes, please listen to the captain, and his verdict is final.
Yes.
We shall move to the second speaker.
Okay.
Good evening, dear friends. My partner has already scored a ton, and I am going to add another one to make a clean sweep in this match. Coming straight to the impact on renal outcome of these trials. These were the pre-specified renal outcomes of 4 major trials, which are almost similar. And if we look at the results, all the trials have shown a similar trend in risk reduction of renal outcome in all the patients, irrespective of presence of ASCVD or without ASCVD. If we see the composite renal outcome, 30 to 47% risk reduction in composite renal outcome with maximum benefit seen in declerectomy followed by EMPA, CANVAS and CREDENCE trial. Similar results are seen on a meta-analysis of FREF studies in the trial DAPA, HF and EMPEROR reduce, a significant reduction in risk of clinical outcome. So this is the last member of the family, the new entrant. What is CV trial with ertugliflozin? Let us have a close look at the results. A significant reduction in risk of heart failure by 30%, 19% reduction in risk in renal composite outcomes, non-inferiority in MACE and CV death. So the overall pattern of the effects on heart failure and renal outcome is on the lines of other large trials. So what does this mean?
Is it a different molecule? Yes or no? Let me take a review here. These situations look like a LPW out, but no, it is not out. I was right. It is a similar molecule. How? I'll try to explain the possible reasons behind the difference in MACE and CV death across this trial. Number one, there is a difference in the study. One difference in the dropout from the study, 31% patients were dropout in VertiCV compared to 25% in EMPA-REG, which is a big difference, sufficient enough to affect the statistics. We don't know how many dropouts started taking SGLT2 inhibitors again. Possible differential drop-in or supplementation of cardioprotective diabetic medicines in trial arms of VertiCV. This can affect the standard of care for high-risk patients in this group because of its timeline, which was 2019, which was not a factor for EMPA-REG. Protocol amendment in the middle of the trial by making the original size of the sample double in VertiCV to 8,000 patients. Fourth, confidence interval in was changed from 90 to up to 96.5% instead of 95%, which could be a major factor to change the p-value to non-statistically significant in spite of a trend towards reduction in 3-point MACE. Friends, it has been rightly quoted by Ronald Coase. If you torture the data long enough, it will confess to anything. Enrollment of different population in the study. If we see the EMPA trial, 19% patients were Asians compared to 6.4% in VertiCV. We all know that Asians have a higher prevalence of CVD as confirmed by various epidemiological studies, and the difference in their number of study can affect the result. Also, difference in the baseline patient characteristics. 24% patients of CHF were included in VertiCV versus 10% in EMPA-REG. Ideally, Verti should have resulted in larger reduction in CV death and heart failure, but the result was opposite. This is because of the early detection and better management of heart failure and comorbid conditions like diabetes. After 2015, when this trial was started, we had more number of drugs like ARNI, MRA. We had a strict BP control management after SPRINT trial. We had guidelines for better management of diabetes with GLP-1 analogs, use of PCSK9 inhibitors for better management of lipids. So VertiCV has failed to yield similar or extra benefit in this trial because of better management of heart failure. Even EMPA would have failed in these circumstances to replicate its own result in the present scenario. So does this better management of CHF have led to reduced statistical power to detect a difference in VertiCV? Again, a point to ponder. My dear friends, tell me, is it possible to milk a cow who has already been milked? Or how can you get a fair result of a match between two similar looking teams who are asked to play in two different environments with unequal players and then making changes in one of the team in the middle of the game? And in the last, you also tamper with the ball and the pitch. So answers lies with you. Meta-analysis of all these 4 trials have confirmed that the effect of SGLT2 inhibitors on CV renal outcomes are largely consistent across the class, and the greatest effect is on reduction on the risk of heart failure and progression of kidney disease, and effect on heart failure risk were consistent across all the trials. This meta-analysis also supports the use of these drugs in patients of diabetes with CVD or at high risk of CVD. So friends, sometimes all of us get carried away with illusions. This is also illusion. Even straight lines looks zigzag sometimes until we'll have a close look. So now my answer is no, no, no. They are not different molecules. They are all same in spite of appearing so. They are the drugs which have a role in holistic management of type 2 diabetes across various stages of the disease, which includes CV, renal, and metabolic risk. ESC and EASD 2019 guidelines have endorsed the use of these drugs in patients of diabetes with CVD or at high risk of CVD to prevent CV events and also for prevention of heart failure, and has placed these drugs in the safest category of class 1A. So folks, I finish here, and I hope that my team has made it crystal clear that all these drugs are having same class effect, and they not only deserve a man of the match, but a clear victory. Thank you. Now it is my rivals to देखे जरा किसमें कितना है दम. Thank you.
So the first team has played their inning. The umpires, please, can call the second team also.
Dr. Keswani, before
Yes.
we call the second team, can we have the coaches give a few comments? So can I have Dr. Devgaonkar, is he around?
Not right now, please, not right now. I object.
Raji will keep it for later. It will influence.
Will you can't have coaches in between before the second team plays. That will create a bias.
No, Rajiv,
Sure.
you know the rules of the game.
Yeah.
We'll keep it later.
And after all the players have played.
Dr.
After that, yeah.
Fully padded up with helmet looks like today.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
They're all scared. So should we?
Raju, I am there. Huh?
No, we're not.
Raju, I am there.
छा गए दिल्ली वाले, छा गए.
So now, from Mumbai team.
So after this very nice so-called pseudo defense of pseudo data, stating that these all molecules are the same, my worthy opponents, I congratulate them. They are very good speakers. They are very good maskers. They have learned masking well in these COVID times. And unfortunately, they have, as I said, one of the highest signal to noise ratios, because each molecule is different, and they themselves said that. We have a wonderful Maratha team, which is very, very well coached by my good friend, Dr. Narayan Devgaonkar, who is from Nashik, who is leading this mentorship. Then, of course, I have the master batsman, the master blaster, Dr. Manoj Chawla, who is at Raheja Hospital, Asian Heart Hospital. He's a leading diabetologist of the world, I would say, in both therapy and technology space. Then
I think Shashank has some connectivity
he's a
issues.
superstar, and you will see him unfold very soon. And of course, then we have our rebuttal king, Dr. Mangesh Tiwaskar. Dr. Mangesh Tiwaskar is a diabetologist par excellence from Mumbai. And I now request, and I really thank and congratulate Bansi, Sanjay, and all of you all for this wonderful opportunity given to Marathas from Maharashtra to defend and actually say that SGLT2 inhibitors are clearly not a class effect. Each SGLT2 inhibitors have a unique phenotype, unique molecules, have their own little DNA and own little signatures. And these signatures will be unveiled in a very evidence-based, systematic way by our master batsman, the opening batsman, Dr. Manoj Chawla. Dr. Manoj Chawla, please.
Thank you, Captain.
Ganpati Bappa
Go,
Moria.
Manoj, go.
Ganpati
Cheers.
Bappa.
All the best. Ganpati Bappa. Moria.
Hello. Yeah.
Namaskar, Mandali. Marathas of Maharashtra, I think, are a class apart. Cardiorenal benefits with SGLT2 inhibitors are not a class effect, and that's a full stop. But yet, let me try and give more evidence to my worthy players. Now, the way Delhi has played, and they are so out of the crease and so out of the topic that our dear Sidhu would say, बल्लेबाज क्रीज के इतना बाहर निकले कि धोनी ने पहले चाय पी, फिर अखबार पढ़ा और फिर जाकर उनको स्टंप आउट किया. Let's understand the class effect. So class effect is usually taken to mean similar therapeutic effects and similar adverse effects. And over the next 14 minutes or so, my player colleague and myself will prove to you that these drugs in the SGLT2 group neither have similar all therapeutic effects and nor similar adverse effects. Now, which other better paper than this JAMA evidence? And I would urge the players from Delhi to also read through this so that they get themselves to be more aware. And what does this paper say? Just the name Flozin isn't enough. Determining whether a drug is sufficiently similar to another drug should be based on its evidence profile rather than on its name or just the biological mechanism of action alone. More importantly, what my Delhi team is forgetting here, that when you talk about SGLT2 group, it's not just Kana, Hempa, DAPA that they're referred to. There are many more drugs in the SGLT2 group. You have remogliflozin available in India. You have tofogliflozin available in Japan, and many other glyphosins, including ertugliflozin and sotagliflozin, which are part of the SGLT2 group, which they never refer to. And these are the different chemical structures of the different SGLT2 inhibitors. And all of them definitely do not have a class effect in the cardiorenal benefits. And that, my friends, is the first boundary for us. Forget SGLT2 inhibitors. Let's look back and see whether there is any class effect among the anti-diabetic agents. You go back and look at the story of bigonides. Well, fenformin and buformin never stood the test of time, and it's only metformin that is found still standing on the pitch today and scoring and found safe. You look at the TZD story, we all know what happened to the other TZDs. It's only pioglitazone, and the risk of a cardiovascular event or death was nearly 25% higher if the patient was taking Rossi as compared to pioglitazone. Delhi Capitals, what about SUs? When people ask you about cardiovascular safety rate of SUs, do you all say that all of them are the same? Or do you all agree that the modern SUs like glyclazide and glimepiride are associated with a lower risk of all-cause and cardiovascular mortality compared with glibenclamide and the older ones? Even when you look at the GLP-1 class, I'm sure all of you would agree that when it comes to the MACE data, you have it only for the select GLP-1s like liraglutide, you have it for albiglutide, you have it for dulaglutide, but you don't have it for all the drugs in that same class. Is there really a class effect for cardiorenal benefits? And again, let's remember, we're talking about cardiorenal benefit and not just cardiovascular or cardiorenal effect. And that's the difference. Now let's look at this iconic data from EMPA-REG. All of us remember when this data came out, how amazed we were. 3-point MACE reduction, all of this statistically significant. Cardiovascular death only seen for empagliflozin yet, 38% relative risk reduction. And we all kept thinking after that, all the criticism from the other trials at different populations, maybe they're all going to be a class effect. What happened when the results from Rssdi came in? Is that a class effect? Do you see any statistical superiority for 3-point MACE or cardiovascular death? The only thing we are seeing some kind of homogeneity in the data is for hospitalization for heart failure. More importantly, do you have the evidence like you have for empagliflozin? This is the latest paper from Subodh Verma, which was presented at ADA this year. What did it tell us? When we talk about time to CV death, the benefits were seen as early as day 59. The 95% confidence interval staying below 1 was seen as early as day 59. Talk about time to first hospitalization for heart failure, day 17. Talk about a composite of hospitalization for heart failure or CV death, day 27. Friends, do you have data like this for the other SGLT2 inhibitors to even claim or even smile and say, no, this is all a class effect? Mistaken. Let's look at again the JAMA cardiology meta-analysis. And I'm showing you the same slides that Dr. Vipul Gupta showed, but without really showing you what these slides mean. When we talk about the MACE risk reduction, you saw this benefit for empagliflozin and EMPA-REG, for canagliflozin and CANVAS, and again for canagliflozin and Credence, whether it's with ASCVD or without ASCVD. You do not see these benefits for the other drugs. CV death reduction only for empagliflozin and EMPA-REG, and that's what drives the data for the SGLT2s. All-cause mortality, again, only seen for empagliflozin. It's only the hospitalization for heart failure which seems to have some homogeneity in the data, and that too, let me remind you, friends, only for those SGLT2 inhibitors which have been studied and not for the so many other ones across the world which has not been studied. What about data from DAPA-HF and EMPEROR? Well, again, hospitalization for heart failure seems to be on the same page, 31% reduction. What about cardiovascular death reduction? 18% for DAPA, 8% for EMPA is just found to be statistically non-significant. All-cause death reduction, 17% for DAPA, 8% non-significant for EMPA then. Again, you're seeing heterogeneity of data based on the evidence. And that is the Super 6 going outside the stadium. Delhi, let's see what the guidelines have to say about this. Let's remember, whenever in doubt, ask for the third empire, look closely and use technology, look at evidence. Of course, if I'm speaking, technology is going to come in. And just like the sneakometer, we need to look closely. What do the ADA standards of care tell us? That when you're talking about ASCVD, it's showing benefit only with empagliflozin and canagliflozin. When it's heart failure, it's mentioning also dapagliflozin. Is it mentioning any other SGLT2 inhibitor? What about the ACE? When you talk about profiles of anti-hyperglycemic, you'll have to zoom in and look at the bottom that it speaks only about dapagliflozin as potential primary benefit for heart failure. Empagliflozin, FDA approved to reduce CV mortality. Cana, FDA approved to reduce MACE events. Again, very, very specific. What about the Heart Failure Association from ESC? Well, it talks about Cana, DAPA, EMPA, and ER2 to be used for prevention of heart failure in patients with diabetes and high CV risk. And only DAPA and EMPA have shown heart failure benefits in patients with reduced ejection fraction, irregardless of their glycemic levels. Again, friends, is remogliflozin anywhere? Do you want to say all this is a class benefit? So you have remogliflozin been used for the same? This is an Rssdi pitch. What does the Rssdi ESI recommendation say, which was published, and many of us were part of this? Glycemic control with glucose-lowering drugs that are proven to be CV safe and beneficial should be recommended. Only those that are proven to be CV safe and beneficial. I don't know what my Delhi friends are doing, whether they have read this Rssdi recommendation. So when we talk about the class effects, let me remind my learned friends that yes, these drugs all work by inhibiting the sodium-glucose co-transporters. They all cause glucose urea. They all have reasonably good HbA1c reducing efficacy. They all may cause some reduction in weight and blood pressure. They all unfortunately have the possibility of causing genitourinary infections. But cardiorenal benefits are unfortunately not a class effect. And again, reminding you through the same slide that Dr. Gupta showed, and he said, look at hospitalization for heart failure. I think they are mistaken. When you talk about cardiorenal benefit and cardiac benefit, it's not only hospitalization for heart failure. Only you look at the MACE, you look at the CV death, and you will see the heterogeneity of data amongst these 4 cardiovascular outcome trials. Really, it is not a difference that divides us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. So learn to appreciate and celebrate those differences. And that, my friends, is the 6 going right outside the stadium. Cardiorenal effects differ. And I've spoken on the cardiac, and my next Maratha Yashpal is padded up to speak about the renal. At this point in time, what's happening to the Delhi team? They're going into a huddle now. And typically, as they would say in Delhi, "Arey yaar, koi jugaad hai kya? Koi jugaad hai kya?" Friends, जुगाड़ की जरूरत नहीं है. मुंबई wins, but दिल छोटा मत कर यार. तू national level champion से हारा है तू. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of the match, my friends.
I want a review. I want a review. Friends, I want a review.
Yes, permitted.
Yes.
Permitted.
So, Dr. Manoj Chawla, you have just shown the EMPA-REG in 2015. You have not shown us the real-world evidence about empagliflozin from the EMPRISE. You have not shown us the EMPEROR reduced. What happened to the composite of heart failure, hospitalization, and cardiovascular death? Decreased by EMPA-REG, but did it when you individualize, as you see, individual components of the, you see cardiovascular death individually or heart failure, not much reduction in cardiovascular death. So I'm actually saying you did not discuss.
Answer the review.
No, you did not discuss EMPEROR.
Not right now. Not right now.
No. And
not right now.
And second, he is talking about sulfonylureas. No, the review question is why didn't you the composite of, and therefore I'm saying if you do the EMPA-REG outcome trial in 2020, you will not get the 38% reduction in cardiovascular deaths. So my review question is, why did you not show us the EMPEROR reduced trial? Why did you not show us the real world evidence from EMPRISE?
You didn't see the EMPEROR reduced, madam. I showed you the comparison between DAPA-HF and EMPEROR reduced. Apparently, you didn't see that slide. So when you're doing a review, you need to see the slides and then ask for a review.
Yes,
Manoj, I'll do it in rebuttal. I'll take care of that in rebuttal.
Okay,
I'll take care of that in rebuttal.
Well,
no crosstalk is permitted.
Rebuttal time. Let's go to the next batsman.
No crosstalk. No crosstalk.
Let me speak. Cardiovascular death was not reduced in the EMPEROR reduced trial as much as the DAPA did. So what we are trying to reiterate is in 2020, EMPA-REG would not do, and it's an outlier. It's a statistical outlier, the 38% reduction. And one more thing, was the EMPA-REG trial primary outcome? Can all of you tell me what was the primary outcome? MACE. It was not, actually, they didn't have to see cardiovascular death. We just found a 38% reduction in cardiovascular death, but the primary endpoint was major adverse cardiovascular events. And all the drugs have shown reduction in heart failure, hospitalization. All of them have shown reduction in progression of chronic kidney disease. MACE, yes, but why? Because these trials are attributable to non-standard inclusion criteria, different
Dr.
kinds.
Kamlakar, I think now you have to take it.
Time up.
Minaji, sorry if I was harsh on you all, but I only showed the data.
Doctor, second speaker to talk, please.
You did not show us the data from
Meena, we will have again at the panel discussion. At the end, there is a panel discussion. So you can discuss at the end also. Dr. Kamlakar,
I invite my
please
second
invite the
batsman
second
now.
speaker.
I think
Second speaker, please. Second one. Now.
Dr. Mangesh.
Let's invite Dr. Yashpal Gokte, our second speaker, to bat.
So good evening, one and all. So are cardiorenal benefits of SGLT2 inhibitors really a class effect? I definitely say a no. And I represent Maratha warriors of Maharashtra. India is truly a story of uniting in diversity. Strength lies in differences, not in similarities. We should celebrate our differences. Just look at the speakers today. It is somebody from Bengal who is representing Delhi, somebody from a Sindhi representing Maharashtra. So we have differences and we should celebrate these differences. And in the same league, we cannot put all the individual drug effects as class effect. We need to understand differences in these similarities. And that is what I'm going to help you in doing today. So how each of these drugs differ, we are going to look at in 3 different patterns. Mostly I will be focusing on the renal part, as my colleague Dr. Manoj has spoken about the cardiovascular part. So I'll be talking about the physio, patho and pharmacological difference, then the clinical trial data and the guidelines. So I think CKD progression is basically because of glomerular hypertension and hyperfiltration. But at the end, it is the increased glomerular pressure which is responsible for this hyperfiltration, which actually leads to diabetic kidney disease. Now, what do the SGLT2 inhibitors do? SGLT2 inhibitors go and bind to the proximal tubular converter tubule. They induce natriuresis. This natriuresis has an effect on macula densa, which leads to lowering of the intraglomerular pressure. The most important thing you need to realize is this reduction in intraglomerular pressure is directly comparable to the SGLT2 inhibition. And if you look at the pharmacological profile, each drug has a selectivity difference in the SGLT2 inhibition. Take it EMPA, take it DAPA, take it CANA. So in short, pharmacologically, each molecule is different. Next is when you have doubt, look to the physiology. So my friend showed a small animal data which showed that probably it's a class effect. No, it's not a class effect. When you're talking about class effect, you have to compare 2 mice models which are of the same type. So these are the slide which shows that if you have C5BL6N mice, the same EMPA shows no renoprotective effect. Whereas in the same mice, the same DAPA reduced proteinuria as well as reduced glomerular lesions. So physiologically, pharmacologically, and biochemically, these are different. Criticism comes only to those who stand out, and you should stand out. And we Marathas of Maharashtra are going to stand out today. We are also going to highlight you about the clinical trial data. So let's look at the clinical trial data. Now, this is the slide that was partly put up by the team from Delhi, and they said that overall 30 to 40% reduction is seen in all the trials when you look at renal endpoints. But devil always lies in detail. For that, you need to look into the small trial data that was classically seen when you are looking at this particular trial data. So this was a paper that was published by Tuttle, which showed that the albuminuria reduction is similar in the tune of about 30 to 40%. But when you are looking at prevention of new onset albuminuria, it was only shown by CANA and DAPA. It was not shown by EMPA. That itself shows that there is difference in each molecule, how it works. Even the KIDGO guideline specifically mentions the chart directly compares DAPA, they rate lower when it comes to albuminuria reducing potential, and they rate equal when you are reducing GFR. So a guideline like KIDGO says that it is different and still not believing. Remo, SOTA, tofagliflozin, no proper cardiorenal data available. How do we interpret this? Do we still consider them at par with all other interventions? The other important part is when you are talking about similar glycemic profile efficacy or similar efficacy, you have to also have look at side effects. So lower limb amputations are more in SGLT2 inhibitors. There is heterogeneity in bone fracture risk with SGLT2 inhibitors. Renal function changes when you have effects on the changes. Each and everything is different. The guidelines, they also say that they are different. I think it has been well identified by most of my friends. So I think these molecules are different physiologically, biochemically, pathologically, pharmacologically, clinically, and also every-wise. A small literary question I want to ask my Delhi people. Chaat from Chandni Chowk and parathe from Parathe Gali, are they same as all from any other place? Not at all. Not at all. So cardiorenal benefits are class effect of SGLT2 inhibitors. I firmly say a big no. They definitely are specific drug effects. And thank you one and all. And if you still don't believe, I think then I will have to bring in Arnab Goswami to ask you and debate you what exactly it is and what is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Yashpal. You saved some time. You are awesome.
Yashpal.
You are too good.
Thank you.
We'll bring in Dr. A.K. Singh. Class effect.
Dr. Meena, now your turn from your side to rebuttal. Who is going to be there from Delhi team?
Dr. Singh Gupta.
Yeah. So, well, thanks very much, Dr. Meena. Well, I really can't understand why Mumbai is resorting to distortion of facts. And the facts have been very succinctly poked by my teammates, right? And Ronald Coase said that when you start torturing data, they will start speaking in the language that you want them to speak. And this is precisely what the Maharashtrians are trying to do. In the recently concluded ADA primer, as you know, the legend Eugene Brownwall talked and waxed so eloquently about the similarity of cardiorenal benefits. This was again quoted by Dr. Arvind in our RSSDI Delhi chapter meeting. Dr. Joshi sir was one of the, I think, faculties at the ADA primer, so ostensibly he must have been on board with that. Now, what is indisputable are the heart failure and the renal benefits which cuts across the spectrum. And what the Mumbaikas are trying to do is to torture the data otherwise. They have talked about guidelines. Guidelines come after data is created. So over a period of time, things may change. So quickly, if we look about the ASCVD data that we are talking about, Canna found redemption with credence once, after Canvas and Canvas R belied its potential. DAPA, all the trials showed similarity in the MACE outcomes in the ASCVD subgroups. EMPA-REG, outstanding benefits, but some of them are still not entirely explained, as we know that statistical outlier is there. The outlier is there. That is that, the results were not found to be similar in the present EMPEROR reduced and EMPRISE. And there's a good school of thought which says that if the EMPA was supposed to be conducted today, the results would just not be similar. Coming back to the Vertis, which is the latest baby, you are looking at better A1C control, better BP control, better lipid control, and you can't compare the paradigms of treatment of 2015 with the paradigms of treatment of 2020, and there have been dropouts in the case also, and subset analysis are awaited. And a statistical divergence of the confidence interval was detrimental to its pre-trial confidence, right? And Mumbai has gone through all this, but understandably, they have tried to brush these things under the carpet. That is their want. So what I would like to say is that even at the outset, when Dr. A.K. Das sir and Dr. Anuj Maheshwari were trying to comment, they just stopped short of speaking that cardiorenal benefits were similar. You all heard that. I don't have to reiterate that. So therefore, respected seniors, very learned audience, do not get confused by what my opponents are trying to say. Let them not confuse you and mislead you. You are on very sound clinical, scientific and clinical grounds when you write one above the other. You are on excellent legal grounds when you write one above the other. I really don't know why Mumbai has been trying to distort facts, for the simple reason I know some of them have been spending too much time in COVID management, so they've gotten kind of relieved or maybe outed from the diabetes management portfolio. And whatever Mumbai might say, as Dr. Shalini also pointed out earlier, I know that the ultimate lawmaking stays with the center. So I would sign off on that, and I would think that Mumbai needs to basically relook at its whatever presentation, and they should not be getting carried away with something and distortion of facts. I rest my case here. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Talk diya.
Now rebuttal from the Mumbai group.
No,
Sir,
sir,
Maharashtra
इनको
Dr.
दूसरा
Sen Gupta,
division
please
को-
use the
Maharashtra
word
group.
Maharashtra. It is not versus Delhi,
Maharashtra
Mumbai,
group,
it is
Dr. Mangesh
Maharashtra.
Kivasar will
Maharashtra
lead.
group. Yes,
Mangesh
Maharashtra.
Kivasar will lead,
बस
and
दूसरा
Sena
रिबटल
Gupta,
नहीं मिलता है सर
Great,
you really,
Mangesh.
I must thank you for leading it so
दूसरा
well.
रिबटल
So,
नहीं मिलता है सर
Mangesh, घेऊन टाक.
दूसरा
Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev.
छोड़ दो दे दो
That's all Maharashtra can do. Say Har Har
अरे हो
Mahadev.
जाता है दिल्ली वालों, ऐसा हो जाता है.
Please,
Now you are
please
talking-
now
That's
start.
all you can say.
Start.
Har
Mangesh,
Mahadev,
start.
Har Har Mahadev. That
ये
is
तो
all
तुम
you
बोल
can
रहे हो कि
say.
डिस्टॉर्ट किया. Now I'll show you the real facts.
Let the rebuttal
आप
happen.
सब पता नहीं. हेलो,
Let the rebuttal happen.
बॉस, let
अच्छा
me talk.
मंगेश अभी
Start
रियल फैक्ट्स दिखा
rebuttal.
रहे
अरे
Start.
how have to
रियल
rebut?
फैक्ट्स दिखा रहे पहले वालों ने क्या
बोले तो भाई
अभी
Please,
बोलने
Dr.
दो.
please.
Hello, बोलने दो तो rebuttal को.
Let Mangesh to talk. Please mute yourself.
Please let him talk.
Yes. अरे यार, इतना कंफ्यूज तो मैंने दिल्ली को पहले कभी देखा ही नहीं था. Now I don't know why these guys are thinking about cardiorenal outcome as just purely heart failure. Everybody is already talking about only heart failure and renal problem. Is the cardiorenal benefit just a heart failure? I'll show you bloody the new facts now, and that you are not talking about. Now you are talking about declare TIMI. Okay, have you ever noticed that was the dapagliflozin, which was only drug which has shown the reduction in the atrial fibrillation and flutter? No other gliflozin has shown that. Now you talked about EMPA as an outlier. What you are saying that, boss? ये तो ऐसे ही बात हो गया ना कि अरे आज इंसुलिन अगर अभी आज आता था ना तो आज तो उसको अभी परमिशन भी नहीं मिलता था. आज मेटफॉर्मिन आता था ना तो कार्डियोरेनल सेफ्टी का बैच भी नहीं मिलता था. बॉस, जो हो चुका है, you cannot deny that. And most importantly, I'll tell you now, which was the drug which has shown the LV remodeling and reduction of the LV mass? It was empagliflozin, a beautiful paper by Subodh Verma published in August 2019. Now, most importantly, I'll tell you, the only drug to have proven sympathetic overflow and heart rate variability reduction post-myocardial infarction was only empagliflozin. You talk about Emperor, I'll talk about Embody trial. And this was clearly shown that in Embody, the reduction in the sympathetic overflow and cardiac mortality was much, much lower in the post-myocardial infarction paper. Now, are you talking about just heart failure? Oh, come on, guys. Now, there are so many other markers. Let us talk about metabolic and cardiovascular markers like uric acid, which is the drug which has been the best uric acid reduction. Lusogliflozin, neither EMPA, neither CANA, neither DEPA. You talk about blood pressure reduction. The best blood pressure reduction was only shown by empagliflozin and canagliflozin, and were statistically significant in most of the outlier data. You talk about the best fatty acid, free fatty acid handling and the short chain fatty acid handling in the cardiorenal SGLT1 inhibition. It was only sotagliflozin in tandem trial. Why don't you talk about that? Why you're focusing only on the heart failure or the cardiorenal benefits are only heart failure? Oh, come on now. Now let me talk about, classify it as side effects. You did not talk about, as Yashpal and as Manoj has already talked to you about that. Have you ever forgotten that Vertige has shown an increase in the myocardial infarction risk? Have you ever shown and seen that, there was a clear-cut increased risk of stroke in empagliflozin EMPAREC trial of almost 18%? Similar was there in the Vertige CV trial, that there was an increase in the risk of the stroke in comparison to DAPA and rest of the gliflozins. And I'll tell you that, most importantly, the stroke reduction or the stroke was neutral with dapagliflozin. And most importantly, at the background of the cardiorenal problems or the renal benefits, I can tell you that the stroke reduction was even stable with dapagliflozin. So what do you call this as? Have you forgotten about the increase in the amputation risk? No, not time over. I am timing my side. It is just 1.5 minutes, sir. No, you should not.
Don't interrupt.
No, don't interrupt, please.
We are talking science.
Umpires,
We are not talking
I
nonsense.
strongly object on this. Umpires, I am strongly objecting on this, and this time should not be counted. Okay? And the amputation risk was only shown with canagliflozin. Skin and soft tissue infection was only shown with ertugliflozin. So on the background of all those things, I clearly say that, boss, itna to samajh lo, just by the name having Kapoor or Khans does not make you a star in the Bollywood. Mehnat karni padti hai, boss. Mangeshkars, they may be all singers, but you all know that Lata is Lata, Asha is Asha, Hrudainath is Hrudainath. Rest of them, aap gyani log ho. Boss, kya bol rahe ho? Aur aap bol rahe ho ki Modi is there in the center, was the highest resistance and the most scared guy, to whom the Modi is highestly scared is Maharashtra. So please stop. And don't say that if you torture the data so much, it will yield to everything. Then better stop analyzing and stop fooling yourself. So better accept that cardiorenal benefits are not heart failure benefits only. They are also additional risk markers which need to be addressed and should be understood. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एके अभी शायद स्क्रीन तोड़ के बाहर आने वाला है आप लोगों को मारामारी करने के लिए. Thank you very much.
Jai Maharashtra. You see the chat box where Dr. Mahadev said.
Hello.
Jai Maharashtra.
Everyone listen, please keep politics away from the screen. We'll not talk politics.
चैट बॉक्स
No between politics. No politics.
Much more than 3 minutes.
चैट बॉक्स में एके ने लिखा है most of the points made by Mangesh are
No,
incorrect.
Dr. Mangesh, this is not the. I mean, just a minute, please. This is the third empire and empire. Please
Is
don't.
AK the judge, the umpire?
Can you all can we keep quiet, please?
Yes.
Let the umpires to take over. Dr. Kamlakar Tripathi and Dr. Jyoti Dev, please take over. And we will,
Sure. Let's be invite Dr. Jyoti Dev. Jyoti Dev has been silent so far. Jyoti Dev.
No, because the ultimate opinion has to come from the audience poll. So we have been closely listening to both the teams. They have both performed very well. And a couple of speakers, I think they have exceeded the time limit, but that is fine. But offensive language, a little bit somewhere there.
Yes.
So that is also okay. So I was listening to that. So that should be accounted when we are scoring. Anyway, there is a pre-poll, and just before the program also there was a poll. And after the debate also there will be a poll, and that will be the final verdict.
So the
but
poll is now going on.
Poll is
going on.
One is going on. But
So,
ultimately we should see that the science is winning. So we will not discuss anything more about that. but both the teams did very, very well.
But
Now
I-
you can invite Jyotidev. Now you can invite the panel discussion, both
Yes,
the captains, and you can invite some of the national experts also. So I mean, in the panel discussion, now you can have all the question answer, but the poll is going on. So after 30 seconds, you please do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Let's have the captain first.
30 seconds.
Yeah, we should
Let's
not
have
be
the captain.
influencing.
Let's have the captain first.
Sir, we will wait for next 30 seconds until the poll is over because opinions change.
Where's the poll?
Before that, we can talk something and the teams did excellent well.
Shalini, do you think our three Munna boys caused some short circuit in Delhi? Your
मुन्ना
lights are
भाई
still on.
मुन्ना भाई कैसे MBBS किया सबको पता है, वही फैक्ट्स मुंबई वाले कर रहे हैं, तो भैया हर बार
जो जीता
मुन्ना
वही
भाई-
सिकंदर, जो जीता वही सिकंदर, बाकी सब बंदर।
सबको मालूम है मुन्ना भाई कैसे MBBS
वो हो गए मामू।
Dr. Bansi, can we invite for a panel discussion
Now you can invite for the panel discussion.
Dr.
Both the
Jyotidev,
captains
Dr.
and
Kamala.
all three umpires along with Dr. A.K. Das and then some of the national experts.
Yeah, we invite now Dr. A.K. Das, the legend of the game today, and all the three umpires, and also both the coaches who have not said anything, Dr. J.K. Sharma and Dr. Narayan Dibankar, to take over the stage and start a discussion on the same topic as of today.
Can I say
Dr. Das, please.
Das now.
Dr.
Yeah,
Das,
I
please.
can. We'll start the panel discussion right away.
with
So
the captains?
may I ask the first question?
Yes, sir.
Which of the effect of the three SGLT inhibitors like DAPA, EMPA, and CANA, which particular effect was differing between the three? I'll make it simpler. The which between the MACE, heart failure, and kidney effect. If there was a differentiation, in which one there was a differentiation?
That was clear cut, no MACE.
MACE in DAPA had a 7% differentiation, whereas the other two were together. Good. I think you have answered correctly. My second panel question to the audience, to the other panelists, is to say that when there is an internal consistency and there is a biological plausibility, won't we say that there is a class effect? I'll repeat again. If there is a internal consistency, was there internal consistency between these three drugs? Anybody can answer. I'll name somebody to answer. Can I ask? Can I ask can I ask Mangesh to answer this question? Mangesh,
Yes.
was there internal consistency between the effect of these three drugs?
Sir, what do you mean by internal consistency? Will it
I
be
mean-
just
I
a
mean,
glycemic reduction or an
glycemic
isolated
reduction-
benefit by somebody?
Yeah,
Some
you
of the drug,
when we
but
yeah,
but
Mangesh,
sir,
in the panel
differences
discussion,
between the-
I will be very straight. I'm asking you, consistency is the chemical structure. Consistency is in the pharmacological effect, and the third thing what has been taken in the mechanism of action. I'll repeat again.
Sir,
Now
sir.
we are not in the part of the debate. Debate is over.
Yes.
I'm just asking the question to make it clear. It's a fun. It's a
But
fun.
I think let
So,
Yashpal
Mangesh-
answer this.
Yeah.
Who will
Let
answer?
Yashpal answer this. Yashpal.
Yashpal, yes,
Yes,
Yashpal,
yes,
please answer.
Yashpal was
Yes.
the guy who did. He is the endocrinologist who dissected it in a very systematic way, and
yeah.
he was actually, telling us the small little nitty-gritties of these drugs. And Dr. Das, I must beg to you that there are not just three SGLT2 inhibitors.
Exactly.
There are more than 10,
Yeah,
and we are looking at others at all.
yeah, I
And
think you are absolutely
you are
correct.
unfairly trying
No,
to
no.
stop the
No, sorry.
SGLT team. And I think that's I think
Shashank,
that's
Shashank, you are not getting my point.
The first
Shashank,
blunder is that there are only
Shashank,
three.
please.
Just
And even
Shashank,
also there are
one quick
differences.
comment,
So
sir.
that's
Shashank,
not
you
fair.
are just
that's
driving
not
the Shashank, you are just driving the debate towards a bias. Whenever
Yes.
you
No,
talk
sir,
of a
there is no
molecule,
bias. My
whenever,
brother Rajiv
whenever,
and my
That's
brother
it.
listen,
Virat,
listen.
we are best friends.
I think
No,
if I have to
there
comment,
is-
I'll say
inhibitors are not
that
cheap.
let one person talk and the
Sir,
others have to
sir,
keep quiet.
sir,
Let me just
can I
finish.
make a
Let me
comment,
just
sir?
finish.
Yashpal,
Yes.
Breeze, can I just speak?
let Yashpal
What-
the
talk.
debate is
what-
over.
Dr. Das
Now,
very rightly said, whenever you talk of a molecule or a class, you're talking of a similarity in terms of their structure, similarity in terms of their efficacy, and similarity in terms of say scientific.
mechanism of
Never,
action.
never, Shashank, let me finish over 30 seconds. Never 4 or 5 molecules can be alike. Otherwise, they cannot be launched. There will always be a difference in terms of structure. There may be little difference in terms of efficacy, but they all behave in the same way. So all these 4 molecules, which are US FDA approved, you can't talk about SOTA, you can't talk about remogliflozin. Manoj is trying to create a confusion by talking about 10 molecules.
Sir,
when
is the topic about
Let
Rajiv
finish, Shashank.
Let
Rajiv finish,
Shashank. It wasn't only FDA approved. There are 4 ACIs available in India.
Manoj, I have raised my hand now. I think
Remo is approved in
India. I am
Yashpal,
please,
sir, let's
please,
do the
No, this is not fair. This is not fair.
All the molecules are behaving
Let
identical.
1 minute.
We are talking about
We'll
glycemic.
pass on to, I think, can you keep quiet, please?
Yeah, when
Now we'll pass on to Jaspal. Jaspal,
over.
Jaspal is giving the nitty-gritty of it. Jaspal, your captain has referred to the 9 things available starting from the Lugio, IPRA, Tofo, and Remo, and the 5 more. All the 9 I have compared recently, but I think you rightly said there are 9 others. Now, I would like Jaspal to speak. My job here is not to cite anyone, Shashank. I am sitting here as LEAGED, so I will not do that. I'm just trying to make the points clear, Shashank, for the audience. So now, Jaspal, to you, to give the nitty-gritty of the known molecules. If you know anything about the unknown molecules yet, you can speak about the others.
So I think we were
all
talking
yours.
about.
Let's listen to Jaspal, then we'll go up to. Yes.
We were talking about internal consistencies. The basic thing I think we need to realize is glycemic efficacy is what these molecules are for. And even if you compare between the glycemic efficacy of different molecules, in the same molecule, even canagliflozin 100 milligram and comparing canagliflozin 300 milligrams, there is a huge difference. So canagliflozin 300 milligrams fares better even than 6 milligrams of glimepiride. So in a drug itself, there is a difference. What difference would you definitely expect a lot of difference even between different molecules, and that is bound to happen. So we cannot say same is with albuminuria reduction potential. So new onset of albuminuria reduction was just shown by DEPA and by Cana. It was not shown by EMPA. Same is with heart failure effect. It was predominantly shown by DEPA. So I think there is a difference right across the board in all the molecules, and it has to be different. So I wouldn't say that.
No, 4 or 5 molecules can always behave alike. You only talk of effect when it is trend towards reduction.
No,
Can I get a minute, sir? Can I get a minute?
A chance to speak, Dr. Das.
Yes, Mina, the captain will speak now. Mina, you have to speak now.
I will also speak.
Please, Mina or Mina's colleagues. Yes, Sengupta. Yeah, Mina is speaking. Please listen. I think on serious matter, there is an audience who has added one sentence saying that let us have good debate and no noise. So my sincere, humblest request to that when somebody is speaking, others have to keep quiet. And if it is beyond 1 minute, others will ask, I will ask him to stop and others will speak. Please.
So
Yes.
I
Now,
want to
Sengupta, Mina, yes.
Dr. Tivaskar, I want to tell you, 1,200 doctors are listening to us and we want to simplify. We don't want to complicate. We're talking about atrial fibrillation. Do I choose a drug only on basis of these minor defects? No. I reiterate why the trials were different. And Dr. Shashank will agree with me because baseline EGFR was different. Albuminuria was different. Baseline characteristics of patients were different. In EMPA-REG, you had 99% patients who had already had an event. So was with Bertis. While in the other 2 trials, did you have this? In Credence, you had the lowest EGFR. In DAPA, declare Timmy, you had the highest EGFR of 85. Obviously, event rate will be low. This is for anybody to understand. Higher the baseline EGFR, obviously event rate will be low. That is why declare had a low event rate. This is a class effect and we all know it. And Dr. Tivaskar is talking about simple things. He's talking about, he's complicating matters. 1,200 people who are listening to us should be told.
Okay. I think Mina, you have made your point. I think over. I think now I will ask Manoj. Manoj, you have got 45 seconds. Manoj, 45 seconds.
1956 people are listening us.
2,000 people listening to us. Great. Now Manoj and Shashank. Shashank, either you can speak or Manoj can speak for about a minute. Please,
Okay.
Manoj, Shashank, you would like to speak? Manoj will
Okay.
speak. Manoj?
So all arguments apart, at least when India, let's understand we are talking about at least 4 SGLT2 inhibitors. Nowhere the topic said that this is only about US FDA approved. I also want to say, Dr. Rajiv Chawla, my brother who's been the author for RSSDI recommendation, sir, we wrote use SGLT2s with proven CV benefit. Nowhere has anybody written that use any random SGLT2 inhibitor for getting the cardiorenal benefit. Let's understand the difference between cardiorenal benefit and just the cardiac effect. All of us have been very specific or trying to tell that use the proven drugs, and I think that is important here. You cannot equate remogliflozin. If tomorrow they establish the data, good for them. You cannot equate that with the data that you already have for the proven drugs.
Manoj, you have made your point very well, very well. But Manoj, I have a supplementary question to ask. So would you accept the 4 drugs that have undergone clinical trial? You may exclude F2. Would you say that DAPA, EMPA, and CANA are this class effect?
Sir, can I talk on this?
There are, to answer your earlier question, Shashank, just a sec, to answer your earlier question, which you asked Yashpal also, in terms of, there are actually similarities and differences, if I can answer that. Even within the 3 drugs, there are a lot of actions which are similar, but there are subtle differences. And we today, being people of science, have to acknowledge once the clear evidence is there. We cannot assume that this drug will have it unless it is clearly shown. We have to give the benefit to the patient on the base of the evidence that exists.
Yeah, thank you. I think that one was what Mangesh beautifully showed about the amputation and showed about the mess. Fantastic. But this is the message the audience will carry back. Thank you. I want such debate which will make the points clear. I think Shashank, you will get now 30 seconds. Then we'll get the other team will have 30 seconds. Shashank, please.
Sir, I am only representing here evidence-based science. Evidence-based science clearly says all the drugs have differences. All the drugs have impact on cardiovascular. You clearly have impact on heart failure, which is different from 3-point MACE. And even within heart failure, there are differences. DAPA is better for heart failure. Empareg is better for cardiovascular death. CANA is better for kidney. Each one has a differentiation. So I think if you even ask me, you can't make a generalized statement, even otherwise, to say that this. So we are talking in an era of evidence-based medicine on large mega trials. And altugluflozin has actually failed all those cut points.
Yeah,
if you ask me very
I do
honestly,
agree with that.
but for hospitalization for heart failure, where I concede with my sister Meena, except for the HHF, everywhere else there are differences. So therefore, to just blanketly state that this is a class effect, I think is unfair, it is incorrect and non-evidence based.
Good. Shashank, may I ask you one thing? Shashank, may I ask you 10-second one thing?
Yes,
when do you say that these drugs are a class effect? You define what is a class effect in a drug. Do they have similar endpoints ever? When do you conclude that this is a class effect?
So let me be very clear.
Yeah.
See, in gliptin efficacy, they have a class effect on glycemic lowering. That is a class effect.
You think gliptins are alike?
Safety, let me clear. Now you have asked me, so I'm answering. But in the differences of safety, it is different. Same thing on efficacy and safety when it comes to cardiovascular endpoint. There are differences here. They are not the same, except for HHF. And when it comes to renal endpoints, they're totally different. And even for HHF, altugluflozin fails. Remogliflozin has not made the mark. So you need to understand that the data simply is not there. In absence of data, we are not data twisters. We are not data torturers. We are simple daily wage earners who are just trying to look at the evidence from a clinician's perspective. And from a clinician's perspective, each of these molecules are different. EMPA, CV death, DAPA, heart failure molecule, CANA, renal molecule, REMO, investigational molecule. That's how I would put it.
But DAPA CKD trial, Dr. Shashank has categorically shown DAPA.
Correct. But what DAPA is, DAPA might be the best in class SGLT2 inhibitor, but that doesn't give that it is not the same as EMPA. It is not the same as CANA. You can't say what is. Can you, madam, दीदी मेरी बात सुनिए, दीदी मेरी बात सुनिए. एक चीज क्लियर कट है, डापा का डेटा आप रेमो की यूज नहीं कर सकती है. That is
true. That is true.
That you cannot say that.
You only talk of a trend in a particular class.
And
none
I love
of the drug has.
I love Delhi and Delhi chart, but I am again conceding that you can't compare DAPA CKD trial data with Remo data. Neither can you compare it with the CANA data. Sorry.
Shashank, first thing is, when you said Delhi people have shown pseudo data, the minute that you said you were wrong. right? You have in your typical, mannerism.
Masking,
You
they have done
always
masking, sir.
you
You are also masking.
you,
You are
you
a
said
masker.
pseudo data.
Masker the masker.
You said pseudo data. You said masking in
No, no,
your
but it is a
typical
fact.
style. You always
Your
confuse
noise
the
level was
audience.
high. So
So
we
you
tried to counter
typically
the noise
confuse the audience.
with signals.
If the topic was other way, you would have, again convinced the audience with the same mannerism.
Shashank,
So
I'm
that is
I'm
art of
sorry to
debating.
say that
Don't
2,000
confuse
people
the
are
audience.
listening to you, and
Stay
you
with
are
the
creating
facts.
unnecessarily
Stay
a
with the
I am
bias.
not creating any confusion.
No,
I am
you
saying
always.
each drug is different.
It is
I
not for
beg to
debate.
differ. I
It
am
is
again
not for
saying
debate.
So,
You are
see,
it has to go clearly.
There are
let me
minor
All
differences.
the molecules are behaving alike, so we
No,
need
no,
to
no.
accept that it is
These are all
It is very
SGLT2
likely to
inhibitors.
be a class
Or
effect.
no four
There are
molecules can be
differences.
alike
I
ever.
conceded on one point. All SGLT2 inhibitors,
Can
which
I
are
can I can I
evidence-based studied
suggest
in
something,
RCT,
Sasank? The audience is
are having.
asking. Sasank, the audience is asking that we should be consistent in our talk, in the sense they want to carry on some message.
Yeah.
I have
Yes.
also got
Your
a message
message has
from
to go
Arvind
very,
Gupta,
very
which is a
consistent.
very strong message. He says,
Tomorrow
let us
we will
not
catch
ask
you in another
questions
forum that
whether there is
Shashank said that.
consistency or no
Yes.
consistency. I think
very
Sasank,
clear
try to
message
understand.
that
Sasank, am I
these
audible?
drugs are different
Sasank,
drugs.
am I
Their
audible?
Sir, can I
evidence-based is
come in?
different. You
Umpires
can't make blanket
coming in.
statements.
Just a minute. I like the discussion, but at least one of them to speak. Everybody speaking at the same time, it's causing a lot of
I think we
confusion.
should look
I'll
at
say
the
it
audience
not
One more
input.
thing.
clear.
Sanjay,
Okay,
now
message
it's
is not
already
going.
8:30. We have already the results.
I think
I just
wait for
I
the
just want both the umpires comment and then final comment from Ashok Das, and then we will end by showing you the results. If the panel discussion is over. So first let both the umpires to make comments, and then let Dr. Ashok Das for the final comment. Yes.
Benchi, just a second, because we have AK Singh here in the panel, because AK Singh from India, he has published, I think, maximum number of reviews on glyphosate. So I would like to have his comment, since more than 2,000 people are listening to this. AK Singh?
Why are you dragging me into this controversy? Well, so, okay. I think if you ask me about the presenter,
Very briefly.
I'm brief. So that's why I'm commenting on the presenter. I'm not going into the science perspective. I felt that
No, it has to be science-based, AK. You have to talk science, not a debate. Because you have to give a take-home message. This is not a debate.
You speak on the evidences available.
Each agent differently.
So Sasank, I'm coming to the point. So from the science perspective, the Maratha team has got a strong favor point that these are not a class effect. However, Delhi team, both the presenter from the Delhi team and Maratha team has done absolutely fine. I have only issues with the science given by Dr. Mangesh Tivaskar during the rebuttal. I think,
all the points were wrong.
Absolutely wrong. I think he said
totally agree.
In IMPA-SON only LBH reduction. There is a same trial called DEPA-LBH. He said DEPA-SON reduction in the atrial fibrillation, IMPA-SON, DEPA didn't. That's not the case. Everyone has shown a basically similar kind of effect. So I feel that
with kind
from both the team, please don't let me finish, please, boss. Let me finish, please.
Okay.
When you have asked me to speak for 10 seconds, let me finish and give my point. So from the science perspective, I agree with what the Maharashtra team has said, that it is not a class effect. But when it comes to the presenter, both the presenter, I think, has given a really good talk, so they could go for the tie. But when it comes, I feel the rebuttal was better with the Delhi team compared to the Maharashtra team. So I will give, my judgment would be in favor of Delhi.
Okay, sir, shall I just say?
No. You are not allowed now.
No. I just wanted to say that was just a
Mangesh,
debate.
nobody is allowed now.
Sir, we want to come in and
just a debate.
And see, your panel is overtaken by Delhi. There's not fair representation from RSSDI for all around.
Umpires.
Arthik, can you mute everybody?
Rebuttal and fun. Okay.
Bansi, let's announce the results and finish.
One last
Yes.
One
Dr.
last
I think we're done.
Sir, eight last line.
If you want, Dr. Vijay Panikar wants to make some comment.
Dr. Panikar.
Take it now.
We'll finish with Dr.
Okay,
Panikar.
Bansi, I also want to make a comment.
Sir,
Nobody is allowed, only Dr. Panikar.
No, if Dr. Panikar is allowed, some Delhi one should also be allowed.
See, basically, did a fantastic job. If you look at SGLT as a molecule, treat
Can everybody else mute?
all are same. All are same, whether Remo or Cana or DAPA. But when you have certain specific situations, like a patient with a cardiac condition or heart failure, then you select a molecule with evidence. But as a glycemic treatment, they are all same. That's the way I would look at it. But where you have a problem, where you want to look cardiac especially, you would use drugs which has got the evidence.
Okay, I think we
Can I
should.
make a comment?
Dr.
Kamakar the twins, the identical twins have differences. You cannot compare the two twins also. And secondly, when we are talking about SGLT2 inhibitors,
Where are the umpires?
Sir,
I think now let us
sir,
listen to Kamlakar Tripathi.
we will stop here and we can start calling them class labeling, then class effect. So it will sort out all the confusion. So class label them rather than class effect like the FDA. And we'll end this debate here and ask Dr. Bansi to come in with the results, please.
I think Bansi bhai, can I give one comment?
Yes.
Bansi bhai,
Yes.
am I audible?
Sir,
yes. Okay.
So this is the audience poll. I'm just giving you the answer during the registration. At the time of registration, 65% of them were saying that there is no difference. I mean, anything they can use, 35% of them. At the start of event, it was 33 with 67. But at the end of the event, there was definite change from 33 to 63%. They said that yes, there is a difference as far as different SGLT2 are concerned. And they can be given. So 63-37. So the clear-cut winner is, I would like to ask again the umpire to give the answer for that.
Yes, sir, Dr. Kamlakar.
Thank you, Banshi. Scientifically, as a basic scientist, as a clinician, there are difference in the perception, but molecules are different in the beginning. Their configuration, the isomer phase, the predictive action, the pharmacological action, then the translation from phase 1, 2, 3, and the 4 trial. All these are different, certainly different. All class effect cannot be translated in each and every molecule. They are born to be. That's why they are looked to be. And that's how they evolve and they involve and they keep on evolving in different configuration. We have known with all the molecules, but there has been a good match between both of the team. Both have ball best. There were some sixer, some four-er, some white ball, and there were some no ball as well. However, because this is a debate, it is a scientific debate. We are clinician, as I said in the beginning also, that we have moved from the bench to bedside medicine. But he has a nice tradition that converting the system from cricket, making it a sportsman spirit. Doesn't matter who wins, but ultimately it's the game which wins. So congratulations to both teams for their wonderful batting, wonderful fielding, wonderful bowling. And we have the result now in our hand. I think the credit would go to either one of the legend to announce or the Banshi organized will announce.
Yes, sir. So before that, Dr. Ashok Das, you can make the final comments. And
Yeah,
it is
I
the
think-
Mumbai Maharashtra, Marathas of Maharashtra
Thank
who won
you.
the match.
Thank
But
you. Thank
then
you.
Sanjay will give the final who is the man of the match. And then we will end by Vande Mataram. So Dr. Ashok Das,
Thank
your
you. 2
minutes for final words.
Yeah, 2 minutes I have. I'll just tell you that the function of the ideal is fun learning. So therefore, the learning of this particular ideal has been great. We have gone through the way that we started. What are the 3 important points on which we decide about the class effect? And what is the impact of the class effect? Whether it should lead to a term of convenience and a heuristic device by which everything gets automatically approved, and the class effect, which is not desired by the clinicians. This point was made by Manoj. So both the points have come out. It also, the players on both sides have shown the similarities and have so shown the dissimilarities. I'm glaring dissimilarity of the dapagliflozin mace and the canagliflozin amputation, and many more have come to the forefront. And also, this has brought to the forefront learning the science with fun, learning the science with pleasure. So I would say, I think Dr. Sanjay Agarwal is going to announce the result, or you are going to announce only the man of the match, Sanjay?
So, congratulations to both the teams. I think you all did very
Yes,
well.
Dr. Sanjay Agarwal, please announce the man of the match.
Yeah. So this was excellently fought. Very good science mentioned by both the teams. Very good presentations. So let me first present the man of the match. It gives me great pleasure to announce Dr. Sen Gupta as the man of the match.
Fantastic. I think
this was done with the consensus of the legend and both the umpires. They all chose to make Dr. Sen Gupta as the man of the match. So congratulations, Dr. Sen Gupta.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Maharashtra Marathas of
an
Maharashtra
honor.
won the match, and the man of the match is Dr. Surajdeep Sen Gupta.
So-
and now I
Thank
request, I think, to close and on
Congratulations,
Friday,
Maharashtra,
we will be meeting
for
at
winning
7
this.
PM.
Congratulations,
Jai Maharashtra.
Congratulations, everyone.
Next video.
And Delhi
We have the next
well
video.
fought, very well done. And thanks, congratulations, Dr. Suraj, for the crisp rebuttal, and that won you the man of the match.
Yes. The next match.
Congratulations, all.
Honored. You will close.
Sir. Hello.
So next match is on Friday.
वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् सुजला सुफला मलयज शीतला सस्यश्यामला मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी पुल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदल शोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुर भाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे
Thank you, boss. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Good night. Very enjoyable.
Friday evening, 7 p.m.
Lot of points to learn. Thank you. Thank you, Mangesh.
Thank you. Good night.
Congratulations, Mumbai team.
Good night.
Congratulations, Delhi team.
Good night. Good night.
Delhi should have vada pav.
Maharashtra Maratha. Marathas of
Congratulations,
Maharashtra.
Maratha team.
अभी ये